All right, shalom, shalom, yasharal, shalom, shalom, ashbaka. Made it here to the top of the hill by going to the bottom because it's opposite. Everything's backwards. But nonetheless, I want to say that Yahuwah cut the phone off, and I know why, because I was like, man, I was wanting to say, or you gave me a word to say something else, and I can't remember, so I just kept Adam and Eve, the mist. In the last video, I'm like, what else was it? And he cut it off, and he reminded me, but he's like, but just wait till you get down there and enjoy our time. And that being said, about that spectrum of like waiting for like enjoy, or not enjoy, but samach, the time with Yahuwah. Sometimes Yahuwah gives us tender kindnesses that are meant only for us. And I like using only versus the JUST, because JUST is kind of like the JUSTICE, and only is the only other alternative, and it rocks, it moves, it shakes. It's Barak Yahuwah. Try it, because it really like makes it more concrete. It's like only, not JUST, but only. But some of those tender kindnesses are only meant only for you and Yahuwah. You know what I mean? And when you do it that way, like those certain tender kindnesses he gives that are intimate between you and him are meant to be so much so between you and him that you'll know, because it's such a state of rest and shalom, shalama, when whatever it is that you have with him, like a little routine, your little thing that you like to do. It's like personal. It's like your little routine, right? But it's like with Yahuwah, like he's in the midst of it, like whether it's getting up, making tea and brewing it, and hard boiling eggs, or like your morning petitions, or singing a song, or it can be anything out there, like going for a walk to the park, or drive, or something that you do, but it's intimate. Sometimes, and that's in a parabolic way, because that can stretch many dynamics. Sometimes what we do is we want people to feel what we feel, to experience that with us, so we invite people to that experience. And the only thing is, because that experience is only meant between you and Yahuwah, it's intimate, it's ruach, it's rest. And what happens is, when you find yourself inviting people and you're trying to excite them about it, you're putting out energy, you're wasting you're killing the ambience of it, and it's no longer that ruach shamayim resting. It might still be pleasant, but it's not what it was, because sometimes those things are just between you and Yahuwah. But when you invite people, it's no longer rest, it's not works. You're not trying to work it and make it something, is what he's telling me. And but if you just relax, invite people, let them know, and if they want to be a part of it, they'll let you know, and just kind of keep it that way. So he was speaking that way to me, for myself. Again, I said these are for me, but for others, because we all go through the same patterns, and so it's like coaching from the top to the bottom, like giving out the memo. And another thing he wanted me to tell everybody is that the Yom of Vengeance, the day of Yahuwah. I was talking about Adam and Eve, Shamayim realm, the Garden of Eden. We got that in part 1. I'm going to call it that. That other video I just did on that. But this one, he wanted me to reiterate, what I was talking about, what I've been talking about, like, and I'm going to post this a lot. You're going to see this kind of like theme, is like, don't give the world any energy until it's exactly what you want. You feel me? And because it's like that, like it's like a job offer, like you got like you work for a job, and they want to give you a promotion, but you wanted a $2 raise, but they only want to give you $1 raise with a little office thing. But you're like, no, I want the $2 with the bigger office with this. And you can get that. You don't fight back and try to argue for it. You just don't take the first offer. Does that make sense? You just don't rest for anything less than the best. What? Yahuwah. Praise Yah. He just gave me that word. You don't rest for anything less than the best. So you want the best, then you just keep on. You don't take oh yeah, thank you, and then you already boom, you've already loosened your energy. You've already yoked with that and made a ruachal spiritual contract agreement with that entity, that tool, whatever it was. You took the offer. And so don't settle for anything. I'm sorry, not SET word. Sorry, forgive me. Yeah. Don't rest for anything less than the best, So, and I don't mean that in like just a job scenario, worldly, fleshly paradigm narrative. I mean like in the Ruach, like this thing operates in the Ruach realm. Like once you're operating in that Ruach realm and you've given up the world, then those same principles still apply in the your reality in different ways now in the Ruach way. Like it just comes out through portals. So it's like, maybe somebody wants to give me a box of like leftovers they already ate, and I'm really hungry. I'm like, nah, I'm straight. I just put it off. But don't give it emotional charge either. You got to treat it like that never even happened. Because if you give it like an emotional charge, like what? Like you're kind of like you're feeling like some type of way about it. Like you're upset that's what they offered you, and you kind of would like to have it, but not that they ate out of it and you're thinking too much into it, emotional. You've already invested energy into it. That'll even like, oh look, he already put it somewhere. He already like cashed out by just involving himself with that entity, regardless of whether you took it or not. They just want your energy. So don't give it energy, even don't give it a thought or emotion. Be stoic, like, and don't rest for anything less than the best till they give you that. And so this is where I'm about to get the day of vengeance, about where it's about to get dark. Because I understand it. The day of vengeance, the day of wrath is a day of bane. It's a day of the terrorists, the terror. It's a day of evil, gloom, darkness, destruction. It's a day that no one even thought would be the word. It's a day of Thanos winning, and that's it. And Thanos is Yahusha. You know what I'm saying? It's the day that evil prevails according to the word. An opposition of the world. It's the day that evil prevails according to the world. But yeah, even it's according to the word. So, because it's a day of evil for them. So the darkness and gloom in one dynamic is that day of vengeance, the day of Yahuwah, the day of wrath, right? Like darkness on the world, like darkness is symbolic. Like we can't see, we can't understand. It's darkness and clouds of mist, delusion. What's going on? What? I can't see what's ahead. Like, because what did the darkness do that we saw? It like blocked the path. You can only see so far. So to the world, they can only see so far at a certain point. Like they don't know what the future holds. Man, I just saw a whale jumped up out of the water rejoicing. I knew something was about to happen. Right when I looked, a whale, and that might be. I'm not gonna take it like a construct. Let me show them. Where's he at? Was that a whale or was that a person? Now they probably just transforming. I don't know. But see how I give it energy? You can't do what I just did. I could have sworn that was a whale at first. They mute. I was just talking about the other day. They can change forms, man. I saw a whale jump up. And it happened to be right in my line of sight. Nothing caught my eye. I just happened to look while I was talking. It happened to be right there. See how they do that? They like throw a little charge, get you a look, and then they get you out. See how I got excited? Don't do that. I just gave my energy away. The sun might come out a little bit, about to get hot or warm, something they want to do. That's how they do that. Lesson learned. Don't do what I just did. You see something? Look away. You gotta be stoic. That's how tricky it is. That's how they start to play hard game. Even dirtier. And so then, like I said, it's the day of Yahuwah, darkness and gloom and wrath. They don't want to hear that. They don't want me to tell y'all, because it's gonna code the truth in y'all. Then it's gonna be on your subconscious. And when it's on your subconscious, you start programming it. You start initiating it just by that meditation to Yahuwah, and it starts bringing it. And that's what they don't want. The beat will tell you. See, the beat came. And so yeah, it's a day of darkness and wrath and gloom. It's a day of Thanos. The dark and the gloom is they can't see ahead at a certain point. In other words, they don't know what the future holds. That's what that symbolizes. They're going to get to the point, the world's going to get to a point where they can't see beyond the scope of time, where what's going to be in the next couple of years, if we're even going to have another month of reality of Chai on this world, because it's just going to be so terrible and evil, the stuff going on. It's going to be so insecure. So that's what fog and mist symbolize. Like, these are just metaphoric physical manifested projections. Brak Yahuwah for Chakma, Hallelujah, Yahuwah. He's letting me know all these things as I'm going. And so that's what fog symbolizes, the day of darkness and gloom. But you got to be in darkness and gloom to actually see it, for him to convey the message to you so you can really understand. But we know what's coming. You know, they don't know because they see fog. But we know because this is what's been nabooed. So we don't have to see. We already see, you know what I mean, without having to see. We just know. And so it's a day of darkness and gloom, of terror for the world, insecurity, right? And unstableness. But for us, it's a yom of, it's a shade from destruction, because we know that's what the word says. And this is where, like, you see the darkness and gloom is always shadowing around me and where I go. And that's what the word says. Like, we talk about Yashayahu 32. It says, a sovereign shall rule in righteousness. That's talking about Yahusha. And rulers rule with him in right ruling. So he's going to have rulers that rule with him. And each one of those rulers that rule with him are going to be like a shade, a divine protective covering from the heat and the storm and the downpour of destruction of the hailstones. They shall be like rivers of Ma'im, like it's all symbolic right here. They shall be like rivers of Ma'im in a dry place. Like I'm in a dry place, but there's Ma'im. I'm like Ma'im. You saw in the other video I did yesterday, the glitches. I looked back at it because I watched just to see what it was using his Malakim to show. And maybe somebody might have said, oh, he don't realize he's not born against himself, because he's like Mount, it's Mount Garazim, the green luscious mountain. If you keep Torah, you'll be luscious and fruitful. But then there's Mount Ibal that was probably more symbolic, like this, like dry, dead mountains. But we're not at the end game yet. This is present time. Because what does the word say? He said, I'll turn the green places into deserts. I'll dry up the pools and make the dry places bust out water and turn green, to give rest to the meek. And that's all what believe that's Yashayahu 32 kind of touches on that. But nonetheless, yesterday, I'll get that the exact one that's lovely on that. Thank you, Yah. Yeah, thank you, Abba, yeah. He just spoke to me. I heard like, boom, felt the presence, and like the thought came. It was like lit up. It's Tahalim, Psalms 107. Yeah. Tahalim's 107 towards the end talks about how he dries up the green and the water for the wicked, but then for the meek and the lowly, the poor, he'll turn the dry ground where they're at into springs of Ma'im and luscious green, and they shall become like flocks of men. And so yesterday when I was doing the video and the projection, you actually would see, I'm getting out of the Ruach a little bit. I can feel this fleshly tension trying to rise, and it's also reflecting, making the sun come out. So something I said wrong, I'm getting ahead of myself, getting a little too excited or something. So I need to kill that flow. It's almost like a guitar string when you strum it, and you should just let that strum echo out and be done. But I'm still holding down the string going, wah, 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 wah. And like as long as I'm doing that, it's echoing that fleshly vibration out of me, bring out the sun. So somewhere I got a little anxious about what I wanted to explain, and I did it in my flesh, and I stayed talking from that projection, that energy. So it's like holding down the guitar string going, ee, and it's just like the sun's still doing it. So I need to let that one echo out. All right, new strong and the Ruach, praise Yah, bring the gloom back. And it was getting hot and sunny, but the gloom's coming back now. There you were. So yesterday's video in the projection, you saw the sand turn green, like it was like glitching, but you see all the sand and the mountains, they start turning green. Even the sand turned green and blue, like not just green, but it was like pixelating like green, like, and then parts of water, like you see ponds and streams. I'm like, what? And maybe it's gonna do it in this video, so that's why let me go ahead and shoot it. But it's for all the haters. I just straight up, like, I don't like haters. I don't even like calling out haters. I don't like hate. I don't even like that kind of thing. But I love everybody. But fortunately, haters do exist, and the ones who get the most hate are the ones who love the most. It's a balance, They can carry all the hate because they got so much love. So you gotta bear it, and it's cool because I got love, so it doesn't it doesn't bother me. But nonetheless, when I see the videos, the Ruach intuitively lets me know, oh yeah, I projected it green with looking like water for the haters. Are like, oh yeah, for those who know scripture, I talk about the wicked are like a desert waste and foundation built on sand and Mount High Ball, and then Yahuwah like kind of shut the mouths of the wicked. I heard wicked, the naysayers, because that's hate. You're killing your brother, man. So Barak Yahuwah, boop boop. I just now saw the shofar, boop. So Barak Yahuwah, felt the Ruach wind blow. It's fun. I mean, this is awesome, Barak Yahuwah. All reality, Achad, one with you, and Malakim Shamayim with you. But yeah, so it's a dead darkness for the world. They can't see, and what's ahead. Lies, delusion, scary, and kind of ruins their party. You know, that's what it's really like, saying like party's over. You know, and who's flipping tables? He's flipping the world's homes, and then in another dynamic, it's also preparing ours. Like it's like clearing theirs, but putting our put my furniture right here, put my castle, my I want that there, and we're not going to be like that because he's not choosing those kind of people. But parabolically, it's like, oh, cool, right on. He just provides, and like, hey, you're gonna. I already had a vision of Malakim coming with keys to like mansions, like, here you go, Raul, and they like kind of bow, and I kind of bow, like, thank you, like just this cool cordial thing. But that's it, and it's all love, ahava, it's just right ruling, because what was done to us has to be done to the wicked. They stole our land, they stole our inheritance, they stole financial wealth, they even stole our chakma, our wisdom, our words, they stole our truth. They hid it from us so they can put us in delusion. That's what it says about that beast in Daniel 11:30, chapter 11, verse 30, and then onward. It talks about how the last beast, the fourth beast, will be not like the other beasts that ruled with like force, but they'll rule with cunning. They'll rule more with like by flatteries. It says they'll get the people to break the Torah by offering them flatteries. Hey, you work Saturday, we'll pay you overtime. We'll flatteries. Hey, if you move in this house with this Virgin Mary statue, idol, Barakio, it's not being irreverent, so it's kind of a gray area. We'll give you a Rouse gift card to the grocery store every week, like to get other things than just the food stamps. But it's like you can use anything for Rouse, $50 every week, so it's like with flatteries, place to stay, showers. It's like, man. And but nonetheless, Yahuwah gives you shalom and confirms those things. Like I was running late a couple times, and every time I tell Yahuwah, let this be a sign to know if I'm meant to be here or not, if you want me to stay or go. I tell them, if they don't say anything to me about being late, then I'm gonna take that as a sign that you want me here. But if they get on to me about being late a little bit, I'll take that as you saying, you can do what you want. I'd rather you not be there, but it's up to you. Like you would rather not me be there, but you still allow it. But I just want to know what your thoughts are on it. But if you really don't want me to be there, then let them write me up, because they write you up for being late. And so I went in, and it happened a couple times, late 10-15 minutes both times, and they didn't say nothing. You have to walk right past the office, so they knew I was late. But it's like Yahuwah did something where they just couldn't see it. Like at that moment, it's like they went blank and completely lost track of time, and then like, bro, it's 6:15, you're late, we gotta write you up, we gotta give you one. They're just like, oh hey, like said hi. I'm like, oh hi, like waiting for them to call me on it, and they never did. And I was like, okay, yeah, I put that up there. I trust that's your word, like that this is where you want me for now, like. And I get it, because he's let me know to the fullest measure, like how he views the situation with idolatry. Like I want to know intimately where he draws the line. So he's let me know, like, he's cool. He'll permit you being in a home with an idol. That's it. Anything beyond that, like if there's praise and reverence going on to it, and they're lighting candles to it, then I already know it's out, because he already done that with me before. But he's not tripping on it if it's there and it's just like a relic. It's just put up on a wall and no one's really paying attention to it. No one cares. He ain't tripping on it. So for those who wonder about that, I'm letting you know that's what he was showing me. nonetheless, last thing I want to really touch on, the day of darkness and gloom of vengeance. Yashayahu, Isaiah 32, talks about how a sovereign shall reign in righteousness, and right rulers rule with him, and right ruling. And potentially, maybe I got fleshly because I didn't want to say, like, I'm going to be one of those, but I didn't want to let another man esteem you, not your own words. But I felt like Yahuwah was trying to get me to boast a little bit, and and I didn't. So I kind of like shrunk down in insecurity. Like, I don't want to make that claim, like that's how humble I try to be about it. But he kind of, I think, was upset. So that's why I got that fleshly anxiety when the sun started coming out. Just why I go watch it. You go back and watch it. That's when it started happening. I started getting that anxiety because there's that word, and he was wanting me to boast about it, and that's scripture too. So thank you, Yah, for the scripture, because I need scripture to like show me where it's in scripture so I can do it, so I can feel comfortable. Isaiah 13, it says Isaiah 13, like right in the first like 5 chapters, right? If you read the first 1 through 5, somewhere in there, it talks about like Yahuwah's also raising an army for battle against the Gentiles, against the world, his proudly exalting ones. It says that the proudly exalting, so we gotta be a little bit proudly exalting, and I forget that sometimes. That's okay to boast at this point, but backtrack. Isaiah 32 says, a sovereign shall reign in righteousness, and rulers, he's going to choose people like us, I'll say it that way, to rule with him in right ruling. And each one of those rulers are going to be, boom, we're going to be like a shade from the sun, from the heat of the sun, and it's parabolic to, we're going to be like a shade from destruction. That shade is like letting you know it's an indicator, it's an indicating mark. Raise up a banner, a standard to the nations. This is like that banner happening live right now, that, hey, this is one of the dudes. And, it puts a shade over us to protect us. He's showing it through shade, but it's also a manifestation that we do have a divine protective covering around us, even for the people in the city. So people are just naturally, by default, going to benefit surviving. Like, it's not going to hit where I'm at for the most part. But there are stipulations to it. Because then you see like Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 4, it says, and 7 women shall cling to one man. The one man is talking about the righteous elect, the survivors. The surviving ones, they're going to cling to him because they want that protection. They're going to know, they want to be near him. But here's the stipulation that Yahuwah gave me. This was like a day of evil, but he'd let me know because I'd be bold enough to say it, and I can see it. I can feel it. I know this is truth. Math adds up. 2 + 2 = 4. The math adds up. This is the right ruling. They ravished ours. They took our women, raped them, killed them, all of that. And so now we inherit the land. We need some women to replenish the earth. You killed all our strong, genetically inclined big people, because Art of War, they'll tell you, they teach you in Art of War that they kill all the strongest people from the nation and the smartest. So they're never smart enough to outsmart the oppressor, and they're never strong enough to overpower them. So that's why a lot of minority nations are short and indigenous, because they kill all the strong ones, and that's why they're not too technologically inclined, like savvy, because they're very just kind of meek. They just keep them smart enough to read blueprints, do basic math, and do the work. That's Art of War. All that, what we see, all the hardworking minorities, Mexicans, Cambodians, and blacks, of course, even the like Filipinos, all these were all short. Black people, they couldn't do nothing about, because that's just a baraka from Yahuwah. That's Genesis 49. It says that's the tribe of Joseph and Ephraim. It says the archer has sorely grieved you and shot you and hated you. That's police brutality. But Yahuwah has made the arms of your hand strong by the mighty one of Jacob. So no matter how they try to kill off their little ones, they just keep coming out stronger and bigger, so they're like, screw it, we just work with it. So that's why they had to be more brutal with slavery with them, because they just kept coming out strong from the mighty one of Yaakov, because that's Yosef and Ephraim, to bear witness of their tribe. And but nonetheless, the rest they were able to kind of like genetically, sucks to say, but like, what did they do with dogs? Breed us. They were able to breed us to get the little teacup poodles and the little terriers out of us. That's all they wanted out of us, to do the work. And that's just the truth. So they don't say nothing when I bring it out. Call them out on it, because they know. They just know. They know their history. I say it all day. And so, nonetheless, because they did all that to us, that's where you see Yashayahu. Isaiah 60 and 49 are the main theme of what I'm trying to say. Look up those and get it in your life, because that's what Yahuwah's about to do. It's that transition. This is going to be the day of vengeance and recompense on the world. It says at the end of Isaiah 60, the little one shall become 1,000 and the small one a strong nation. So I'm a little one. I'm a small one, but I'm going to be a strong nation. How? Because Yahuwah, it says, like, look, it says in earlier, go back to Isaiah 60. That was the end of Isaiah 60. Now go back to the beginning. It says, look, look, arise, your light has come. The nations see your brightness. The brightness is, it says that the truth is a light. So they're going to see the brightness of the truth, that what you're saying makes sense according to the biblical narrative, but in the way it connects with reality, with all the history and everything. And so they see that your light shining, that what you're saying makes sense according to what's coming, the scriptural narrative, biblical narrative. And it says, look, the Gentiles come to you. The Gentiles is symbolic for the other nations that are not in covenant. These are people that were the oppressors. It says after that, those who oppressed you will have to serve you and build your walls. And it says, but look, the Gentiles come, and they're bringing your daughters and your banim, your children, from afar. From afar is symbolic for, like, they're people not of Yah. They're coming from a far place. They're not close to Yah, but they come bringing your children. They come rearing your children in their arms. So in one dynamic, people look at that metaphoric like, oh, it's because we've been dispersed in Gentile nations, so we've been raised by them. But then we're coming back to Yahuwah in their arms, like through where we were raised at. That's true. It is true. I'm not going to disagree with that. There's dynamics to it. Light has different spectrums of color: red, white, blue, yellow, all of that, right? I think yellow's one of them. And so, nonetheless, in the other spectrum, though, everything you see in Scripture, if you get well versed in it, there's always those two dynamics going on. There's that literal thing happening, like being manifested with the word said, and then there's that more spiritualized, poetic version of it, like the Gentiles, they come bearing us in their arms, like we're Israelites in the midst of Gentiles, and we come and they bring us, like, put things in position for us to come back to Yahuwah, like making Hallelujah scriptures or making Sefer, like they put the truth on the internet so we can come back to the truth. And that's basically, in one dynamic, the Gentiles bringing us back to Yahuwah with our gold and our silver. It's not literal gold. It's talking about, it says the word is more precious than gold, like silver refined 7 times, And so we're coming back to Yahuwah with the truth. Like they gave us the truth back to give us the option to choose whether we want to stay and be slaves of Gentiles and be like them and suffer and die in their destruction in their party, or we want to come back to Yah and keep his commandments. And that dynamic, that's true too. But the other thing is the part about raising our children is literal. They have to, 7 women clinging to one man. A part of that is the Gentile nations have to bend over now for us, if you will, to let us consummate, to let us come into them, to have our children, to raise up our seed to be strong and all that. They'll be the nursing mothers. This part is more expounded in Isaiah 49. That's what I say. Isaiah 49 and 60 are the theme. Isaiah 49 gives us more context that this is a literal thing. It says that that sovereigns and sovereignesses, kings and queens, rich people is talking about, basically, like those who are on top, they're going to be your nursing fathers and mothers, meaning servants, and they're going to raise up your children, literally nursing, like, nursing your kids, because they're going to have our kids. They have to, you raped our women, now you got to have our kids to replenish that, because they took our genetics, the strong genetics we have. They got strong genetics still because they won their wars, but now they're going to give us their genetics. And that's what we see Isaiah 61. It says, and you shall consume the strength of the Gentiles. We're going to consume their strength, take on their strength, and boast in their esteem. So what esteem do they have? Yeah, prosperity, they're on top, but they got more or less the attributes, the esteem body, right? They're very fit, very athletic, because they take our energy too through spiritual warfare, biotech, believe it or not. But that part too, Satan uses them like that. But in the natural sense, now they got to have our children and have that strong genetics put back to our seed through them. They have to pay us back to that. And that's where it says, you shall consume their strength and boast in their esteem. We're going to have that esteem again, our children. And again, it says their sovereigns and sovereignnesses, are going to be your nursing fathers and nursing mothers. And you shall drink dry the milk of the nations and milk the breast of sovereigns. The breast of sovereigns is also idiom. This is Isaiah 60 now. Go back to Isaiah 60. If you read Isaiah 60 and 49, you'll see all this I'm saying. Isaiah 60 says, you shall milk the breast of sovereigns. Milking the breast of sovereigns is like you're gonna have the kind of breast like that sovereigns have. Like rich people get these like fine women, right? Because they pretty much buy like supermodels, right? Because the supermodels want that security, that financial stuff, and so that's the milk breast of sovereigns. We're gonna have that. Their wives and stuff. Their type of women that they're getting. And then one more witness on that, we see that come together is Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 23. At the very end, it says that all those women that went whoring go back to their hire. And that's happening now. They're returning back to their hire. Because for a time, there wasn't internet. Everybody was kind of living a modest culture, the 50s, 40s, right? But now, like, they go back to their hire, committing whoring with the world. And so women, we see them do that. They can commit whoring with the world through the internet. Those are those OnlyFans. You see those OnlyFans women, all these models, they're just bending over all the time, being sexy, and they're billionaires. They're billionaires just shaking their butt and their boobs and being provocative. And it says, read it at the end of 23, that's what it's talking about. They shall whore with the nations and become wealthy from it. And it says, but their earnings are not gathered to her, for their earnings are laid up and Kadash for those who eat before Yahuwah, for those who sit before Yahuwah, those who are before the face of Yahuwah. It's for them. It shall be laid up for them for a choice covering. In other words, they have to, like pass over, provide for us. They have to be our sugar mamas. In other words, like provide their houses or wealth, whatever, for what we need. And it's going to be a perfect balance because we don't need much. Like I'm just used to eating some nuts and this and that, some grains, some beans, some whatever, and just being outside, spending time with Yah, and every now and then, like if I need to get somewhere and they can, the Mercedes is the only thing available or whatever, and I'll take that. I ain't tripping on it. I don't care about it, but Yahuwah wants us to have the best though. So it's going to work that way. All this like new technology coming out with like at the brink of the forefront of like all this cool stuff for like houses or like smart houses, smart mansions. Yeah, like I think some of that stuff is still going to get left, in the merger through the millennial year reign. That's what it is, like a merger of Yahusha coming down and instituting his reign, merging, bringing his Shamayim reign. And as he transfers the power to us, then those things are going to be left still. So we're going to get the best end of that stick. Like this new forefront technology is going to be for us to enjoy, their wives, their women, and all that kind of stuff, because they destroyed ours, so now they gotta replenish our seed, and that's it, so nonetheless, sun's coming out too right on time. I felt something was going on, but it's getting hot. Nonetheless, this is the word for the Kodashim, Natsarym, Yashalim out there. If you're truly one out there, don't settle for less. Don't settle, don't, because got the word SET, that's a Egyptian deity, SET, don't say that. Don't rest for anything less than the best. In other words, the paradigm right now is all that I just said. What is the best is we're waiting for them to bring to us Yashayahu 60, the procession of the sovereigns bringing us their best of the best. I'm literally waiting for that. So if they're not coming bringing me anything, I don't care about your smile. I don't care about your little fun looking thing. I don't want that. Bring me something, or bring me your wife or your daughter to come sit on me. That kind of thing. Like that's the day of vengeance, the day of recompense. If it ain't that, I ain't looking. And what ends up happening is it starts manifesting. Like I don't give the reality no attention. All of a sudden I get up and look around and there's like women bending over all around me. And I'm like, oh, wow. But what happens is if I get excited about it and I give it attention, I already checked out, already cashed in, already cashed out or whatever. Like I was satisfied with that. But that's not the end game. The end of the game ain't for you to bend over and show me your junk and all that and dance around me and model around me naked or whatever. The end game is I'm not giving you any energy till you sit on me. I'm going to just lay back. You got to come over here and you got to wake me up. You got to get things going, and you got to let my seed plant in you. You're going to do the work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to kick back and relax. And basically you just stay stoic. Don't give the energy, the reality, any any energy until they do that. If you're the Kodashim, the Natsarym, Yasharim, the true people of Yahuwah, that'll happen for you because, and the demonic side of things, they don't see the coding, but they're coded where they do certain things to get energy. So that's why they look so esteemed, like six-pack ab dudes and beautiful, lovely women, blonde, all this. You're looking like, man, she look good. She look cool. She look fine. You do that, you give them energy so you can keep the world powered up. You start cutting them off. You stop looking at them. They start getting drained. They need your energy, so they're going to have to come and dance around you, walk by you. Don't even look at them there. To the point where they're going to feel the enemy because they want the energy, knowing that you want the energy, you're going to have to do what the word says. I'm not settling. I'm not resting for anything less than the best. They're going to have to come, Isaiah 60, the Gentiles carrying up your children on their arms. They're going to have to come and sit on me and let me plant my eternal righteous seed in them. And so to fulfill Yashayahu 60, the little one shall become 1,000, the small one right here, a strong nation. Yahuwah shall hasten in his time. And this is it. You're looking at a real ancient bloodline. Yasharali telling you the real truth. Look, arise, the light has come. Darkness clouds the people, but Yahuwah shines upon us. And this is the cloud of covering for the righteous, but a cloud of darkness, of destruction to the world. So you want to be a part of the protective covering, to the women of the world out there. They're going to have to submit. Husbands, bring your wives. You're going to have to let me ravage them, be this ravisher mode. You're going to have to and that's Isaiah 13 too. It says Yahuwah's going to raise up the Medes and the Persians, or the Medes, just his army. It's parabolic to that when he said in the beginning of Yashayahu 13, Yahuwah's coming from army, even from Shamayim above, his people, his Kodashim, his exalting, his proudly exalting ones. And it says their homes shall be plundered. They're going to give their homes over to us, and their wives ravished. They're going to give their wives to us. And that's the Ruach. That's the truth. And that's why it's a day of darkness. It'll be something the world had never believed. But I tell you, when I meditate on this, it's the one thing that starts miraculously manifesting that Yahuwah's like, now you're in line with where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And the world can't perceive it. But when you operate in it, guess what? They do start perceiving it. I keep my mind on this, and I just wait. And I can feel they have the inclinations like, oh man, he's like a sovereign. He's something special. Like, oh, I want to have a baby by him. I feel like he deserves it. Like, I just need to let him like I wonder if my husband will let me have that, like do that. Like, and the husbands are even like, oh man, like, yeah, that guy, yeah, I'll let him hit my wife because Yahuwah puts that in them to cuckold them. That's just the recompense. That's why it's a white thing to do that. Nonetheless, that's the end game for the true men of Yasharal. Don't sit back, relax, and don't rest for anything less than the best till they're giving you their women, their wives, they're giving you the keys to the car. But if you're trying to do that, seeking in your own through a job and all that, security, through BAL, GOD, the dog, man, get out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not Yasharal. You're just playing. But for those that have been really seeking Yahuwah, and it's put you in places where you had to cut off, like society. And at this point, you either are or you're not. Everybody's, as long as you're trusting, that there's a way for you to be saved. You just have to be favorable towards Yahuwah's people, like the word says. If you're not in position to be those people, the word says, Yahuwah Barak, favor those who favor you. You'll favor those who favor you and curse those who curse you. So the least you can do, or even the most, is just show some love towards those people, his people. And, give them a little snack, whatever you can, give them a little gift, all the time. Be kind to them and hook them up, and show them love. And that's an offering to Yahuwah, that's your acceptance, That's basically what we're asking for the world. But because the world, the part of the world that oppressed us and did all the bad stuff to us, for them, I ain't taking just a candy bar. You done killed my heritage, my lineage, my people. Nah, man, you got to give me yours. Like, you got to give me your wife, all that. Like, give me your keys and all that. You got to be like Terminator. Give me your keys, your boots, your clothes, and your motorcycle. You got to be bad to the bone, bro. Praise God. And I don't mean that, like, I'm not trying to give it energy, but, these movies have parables in some sense. Nonetheless, that's it, That's really the end game. This is for the Kodashim. And this is even for, honestly, hate to say it, not that I hate to say it, but you was telling me this on the way down. We had this talk about all this. Just on the way down, like a little 10-minute walk. Even our women, man, the Kodashim, the Yasharim, Natsarym women, some of them aren't even walking right, like according to Yah, like they know who they are. There's a lot of hypocrite ones that still want to have their cake and eat it and chase financial gain instead, but still calling on Yahuwah. Yahuwah should keep it Sabbath and mixing it up. They're kind of in line with the world because they sold out to that culture. And if you got riches like that, then that's the 7 women cling to one man too on Isaiah 4. That's Isaiah 4 where it says, we'll provide our own bread and our own clothes. They're initially saying, yeah, I know we messed up. We chose wealth and materialistic things over Yahuwah. But look, we got you now. Like as an offering, like to make it right, we'll provide our own clothes, our own home. Like we provide for you. Only let us be called by our name. Like just take us, like let us still be a part of the nation, even though we kind of rebelled, like betrayed through choosing financial security and all that versus like letting things go. Let us lie down for you and be called by your name. So they're in the same position as the worldly women in a sense. They will tell me to make that clear. So a lot of your sisters out there, wealthy. If you're wealthy, it probably applies to you. You're probably in that position because the end game is like to make sure that we're provided for, taking care of like the kahanim, the ministers. So to the wealthy sisters out there, especially if you're single, like if you're married, then that's so be it. Like I guess I don't know how you wants to do that. Like just depends on what's going on in that situation. Like if your dude's not really on board and he's kind of wicked or worldly, then shoot, he might be like in the ball and we might just have to take you away from him kind of thing. It's going to be like that. And we see that parabolic blueprint with Dawood, right? With Dawood when he was promised Shad's daughter, right? For the foreskins. If you kill 100 Philistine, bring me 100 Philistine foreskins, you can have my daughter. And he brought back 200. Well, there was a fallout with him and Dawood and Shad, so he fled. And when he came back to everything got restored back to Dawood and Shad died. Well, the wife, his daughter that was originally promised that he earned for the 100 or 200 Philistine foreskins was already married off to someone else. And he's like, nah, man, that's my wife, bro. Like, give me my wife. Like, that ain't you. That was originally for me. And so they had to give the wife to Dawood. And the husband went behind her crying. And they're like, go back, man. Just let it go. It is what it is. Like, start fresh, Find you some work. Find you another way to do something like that. Like, find someone else. And for a lot of the mashpaka out there, y'all are those dudes. Because all this was amongst Yasharal. This was all amongst Yasharal. So it's hardcore. Like, I'm telling you, man, the day of vengeance don't play. This is how it's going to go down. All those parabolic things are going to come to high, and you're going to recall these stories. You're going to recall everything I'm telling you. Like, man, everything Raul said came true. Like, look at this. Like, man, like it seems like kind of like mayhem, but that's what shalom means. Peace. It means order out of chaos. Like Yahuwah coming to disrupt the current order of the falsehood of the way of the world to establish his order through chaos. He's going to break down everything and restructure it. And it's a lot of shaking and sifting and moving around and all of that. So everything just gets checked in its place and there's that rest, that peace. It's like everybody's in position. Like everybody knows where they're at, And that's how it's going to be. So a lot of the mashpaka out there, not keeping it real, doing this for gain too, I'm probably going to take your wives, man. Like that's reserved for me, your wealth and all that, because you were doing this in fake, guys. Who knows? He lets me know some stuff. It lets me know this is kind of what it is. There's some truth. This is truth. There's truth to this too. So, but for the single women out there who are like there's Rahabs, that's your Isaiah 23 women. There's Abigail's, Nabal's, and there's like the Shaul's daughters. All those dynamics are going to play out. And but for those who are able, like the single ones, yeah, I have my celibate oath, but Yahuwah already firmly told me, like, we're ready to do this now. Like, we're ready to start putting into play. But it all has to be agreeable and submission. So I can't force nobody. I can only invite you. And you're going to have a divine protective covering, with you wherever you go. If you let me come into you, just keeping it biblical, scriptural, and raise up my children, raise up my tribe, back to my name, back to my tribe, back to Yahuwah, to Yasharal. For those who are able, can take care of themselves, volunteer themselves that way, who are single, don't have a father I need to let know about it. It don't really matter at this point. If you feel that calling, then you come out here. And I'm more I subscribe to to the Garden of Adon paradigm. That's narrative. So I got all kinds of little stipulations. We're not about to do this in a Babylonian system, paid, occupied, like ran, like the house is coded. We do that in a home, in a hotel, man. It's Babylon. We ain't got no business doing stuff in there. We doing it out here in the open, in nature. So that's the other thing. When we consummate some marriages, we're restoring a Garden of Adon, coding it by just out here in the open, letting the world see. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the dynamic of, you saw, who was it? Mag Dawood's Ban, Avshalom, when he tried to take over Dawood's reign, humbled his wife's, or humbled his dad's wives. He had a lot of wives, and he put them on the roof, and he was, getting in all of them, on the top of the building, on top of the house, on the roof, so that the entire city can see. He did it out in the open, so that he could like shame his father and say, "Look, I took his reign." And now that's in a bad way, but like again, everything has duality. But that's gonna have a day of projection, fulfillment. You know, putting you in the mind frame where you're gonna be naked and not ashamed. Like coding reality is sort of like putting you in that frame of mind to code it where it becomes genetic. It's gonna happen in somewhat kind of a natural way, but with the help of the Ruach to empower it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like when you see people that suffer with drug addiction or alcohol addiction, all that gets coded genetically. That's why you see generational curse. Like the father drank, all of a sudden the kids, like it crosses into when they have kids and they're an alcoholic, that coding in the genetic makeup programs that dynamic into them to make them genetically inclined to want to drink and do all that. It's just something that got passed down in the blood. But only this time it'll be in the righteous sense. So we're trying to recode the Garden of Adon in a natural sense until the Ruach fully just takes on. But right now, the Ruach is giving us inspiration and motivation, encouraging us and power to do it, like power, like encouragement, But we have to do it and encourage, like guiding us, saying like, don't be scared, don't be nervous, don't be insecure, because whatever you're like is gonna code into your offspring. So we got to get out here to restore the garden, and we got to get naked and unashamed and let it feel natural and let it feel righteous, let it feel like pure and like we're one with the animals, hearing the birds flock singing around you, butterflies, everything kind of whistling, the wind blowing while just like praise Yah, praise Yah, hallelujah, praise Yah with it. And it's like, and then like everything has to be like there's no inhibition, and then that codes genetically to the children, and then they're gonna come out be more prone to be like pure and into nature and like naked, not ashamed, and without sin, like transgression, like righteous. They shall raise up children for righteousness and not for trouble. All that cool stuff, restoring the Garden of Adon. So it's gonna take root in a very natural way that we have to do the work. That's all we got 1,000 years to do it, millennial year reign, but we already in the eve, so we can do that now, for those who are ready. And you can try with other people if you think it's gonna work, but I already know that's there's a lot of fleshly, superficial mentalities going on out there. I completely unplugged kosher, a plant growing out in the wilderness, like organic, from the Garden of Adon. So that's why I got the information and the knowledge. How you gonna go sign it up with another company after I gave you the info? Hit the jackpot. Anyway, so I'm right here, San Diego, Blacks Beach. Hit me up, sisters, Akutim, females, single females watching, women of the world who maybe follow me, stalk me, whatever it is, I don't care. And even to those OnlyFans models, I've been sending you this information too, so that you know what's up. I'm out here, and if you want that eternal security, that divine protective gloom covering from the heat of destruction, the shade, then you can secure right now some high insurance during the destruction, the judgment, just by coming over here and lying down for me, sitting on me, however you want to do it, sit on me, and letting me samach, gladly exalt. And that would be the context of enjoy. Yeah, to enjoy that, because joy, one of the etymology means to sexually to sexually enjoy something is to enjoy. Is like to sexually express sexual expressions of gladness or something like that. And so that's why even the word join in, it's like you're saying joy in, joy in. But in this context, joy works. So for those of you who are ready, women, yeah, let me enjoy you. Let me enjoy you. And Barak Yahuwah, that shall give you a divine protective covering. And some of the witnesses, I've had people in the past, like partners that I was with that, we used to do Uber together, but we were kind of separated. But when we would do Uber together, all the rides, all the things we get were always for like $20, 12 to $20, like 15, 20 high tickets, all the time, constant, boom, boom, boom. She would trip out, be like, man, what? Wow! Like every time I'm with you, I get a bunch of dings, and they're all like $20. But then when I'm by myself, I get like $5 ones, and like hardly any of them. Like I'm sitting there waiting for like 5-10 minutes at a time before I get a ding, and it's like $5. But then when I'm with you, they're like constantly going. Like we got one dinging in before we even picked another one up. We got like 2-3 at a time backed up, with like $15 to $20 ones. She's like, it's only when I'm with you, it's like you're Baruch, like your favorite. Like when I'm with you, I get favored because of you. And that's kind of like when she told me that, I was like, I don't want to boast about it though. I don't want, because I'm with Yahuwah, like you. But I was just like, well, we're a team, and Yahuwah sees we're working together, so he's just rewarding us, doing so well together, like getting along and being cool. And we're like a family, so it's gonna. But really, it's like that dynamic. Yahuwah showing like, you scratch my back, Yahuwah gonna scratch your back. Like he got you. Like if you got me, he'll take care of you. So praise Yah. So with that, I bid y'all farewell. May Yahuwah favor you, and increase you, and guard you, protect you, and strengthen you, keep you. In Yahushua Mashiach, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Aman, aman, aman. Allah Yahuwah, Yahusha. Allah Yahuwah, Yahusha. Shalom, shalom, Yasharad. Shalom, shalom, Mashpachad. Shalom, shalom to the world, to everybody. Yahuwah be with you. Shalom.